Hello, welcome everybody to the Death Metal Cast. We are live, as usually are, on noon Central Time every Tuesday. It's great to see you guys in the chat. Welcome to. We'll see how this fight goes with. It's not Coco versus Superman. It's Superman versus Sentry. If you don't know who Sentry is, spoilers. He's Superman, kind
He's
of.
Marvel Superman.
Kind of.
He's got a big old S on his chest.
He does have an S on his chest. He does fly. He is invincible. But there's a whole other side to his story that doesn't. It's different from Superman. So this is going to be fascinating. If you've seen the Thunderbolts movie, spoiler, he's in it. Yeah.
I saw somebody asking about that. We're not going to be talking about stuff from that movie, are we? Or
No,
probably not. He's kind of different.
Nothing relevant.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah.
So no spoilers.
It's the same
don't worry,
basic idea of the character, but like,
the
way they do it in the movie is different.
The Void is different in the movie.
Void is different. The way he gets his powers is everything about the characters, like story wise, is different. Characterization.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not in the comics. They don't have a Julia Louis-Dreyfus. They don't have Elaine.
Wait, she's in the movie?
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn,
she's
man.
their new Nick Fury, but she's evil.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good role for her. She's such a good actress.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Gilded kicking us off with 20 gifted memberships, by the way.
you.
Thank you, Gilded. And then Lily with 5. Wow, all right. Thank you.
What are you guys doing?
I'm in bed today because I wanted to, and they said, Liam, get the fuck out of bed. And I said, no. I love
I
bed.
thought you were sick. I thought it was
I love
gonna be
being
like
in
this
bed.
whole thing where it's like, I'm sick, so you guys should vote for my character.
I'm sick a little. But I am Tucky. And how could you ever vote against?
Oh,
how
God.
could you ever vote against a boy this Tucky? Right?
These are all
I'll even-
lies. It's just that your neighbors started like hammering the wall next to your last location.
Very,
Yes.
So,
very
Actual setup.
loudly.
yeah.
And I had to leave that room and go to my bedroom.
Yeah.
I could have gone
There you go,
somewhere else,
theater guy.
maybe.
That's why Liam's being
Yeah.
swallowed by a caterpillar.
No.
But I'm comfy now.
So yeah, we are going to be doing Superman versus Sentry. I will be repping Superman, although I feel like you guys are already very familiar
Quite
with
familiar.
Superman. I don't know
Yeah.
if we need to talk too much about Superman, frankly. But Liam is going to be introducing us to Sentry and all things that Sentry can do, and we'll see if somehow Sentry can keep up with or even supersede the ridiculous shenanigans we all know Clark Kent can accomplish. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's been some stuff with Superman since our most recent Go vs Superman, but like, as far as I'm aware, nothing that necessarily changes how he sort of like fits into a versus argument. But you know, like death metal and all that, and there's some cool shit going on with DC Comics right now. So, but either way, let's get into this.
Right before we do, Vamlator with a massive super chat. Thank you.
Vimilitor, wow. Thanks, Jamie.
Says, hello, I've had a rotten day, and Death Metal Cast is an excellent cure to that. Well, I hope your day gets better. However, one thing that's been bothering me for a while, are we not supposed to be kind to each other and ourselves anymore? Because it's been a while since that outro
That's
was
true.
used
That's
and
a
I miss
good.
it.
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
Don't be kind.
Wow.
H.
Well,
Wait, what was the outro? I forget.
That's actually a good.
It was
listen
your
through.
outro.
Your
You would
outro.
say,
It
be
was
kind to yourself,
good.
be kind to others.
That's
and-
right. That's right. Well, today, if I remember, I will try to.
I'll try and
end the
remember
show
for
with
you.
it. Yeah, we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. Okay, so let's get into this. Superman versus Sentry. Superman. I'll go ahead and start with a quick sort of like recap on Superman. We all know him, we all love him, or we hate him because he killed Goku. You know, one or the other. You might think he's a boring, you know, all-powerful guy. But I really do think Superman himself has a very fascinating story, and a very intriguing set of powers that have evolved over the years. Of course, most recently, in the most recent sort of like reboot of the universe, post 52, post a bunch of different things, post Dr. Manhattaning all over the place. Everything is now canon.
Gross.
Well, you know, he's got a Manhattan all over the place with it when he's like, letting it loose all the time.
Yeah.
But now
'Cause
everything
of
is
his
technically
penis.
kind of canon. It's sort of questionable, like what specifically is and isn't canon, but basically everything could be canon, I think is the idea, right? Anything
Yeah.
in the past could be referenced as having happened. Which also
Shut up,
does,
nerds. That's
yeah.
the rule.
Well, it got really confusing trying to figure out what the hell was going on with New 52 Superman, and then they brought
Yeah.
in Post-Crisis Superman into that story, and it was like, which one is which? Who's got what? So they were just like,
merged.
everything's everything. It's fine. Which is frankly the better way to do it, I think, so that readers don't get fucking confused about which Superman does. Anyway, that's not the point. Point is, he's strong as fuck. He breaks reality after getting charged up by a white star. He could just he literally says reality doesn't mean anything to him anymore. He can just warp between places in space and time. He can travel through time effortlessly, it seems. It just sort of happens. It's not even like he moves so fast he goes
He
through
used
time.
to have to fly real fast.
Yeah, spin the world backwards. Yeah.
Well, no, that's what Flash has to do in Superman comic books now, and Supergirl. They just decide. They're just flying along, and they're like, all right, time to go back in time, and they just do it. So
It's like a classic Silver Age
yeah,
kind of callback.
exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, as we all know, famously, as everybody knows, his heat vision was powerful enough to restart the entire universe and kick off the Big Bang in the DC cosmology. Basically says that their universe is many times larger than our own. So it is going to be very difficult for Sentry, I think, to match that level of power. Also, I do want to get this out of the way. I am fully aware that I feel like I may have been caught in a corner here, because I am fully aware that I'm about to argue that one of maybe the most put together, like focused, like self-understanding characters in all of comic books. I'm about to argue that he's about to beat up a guy who has some severe self-doubt and mental health issues. I'm fully aware of that.
Okay.
Let's not make that part of the conversation.
Clark is inventing a new kind of therapy.
Yeah. Let's not go down that route.
We'll
But-
have to. We don't have
Lily's
to.
birthday. Happy birthday, Lily.
Whoa.
Thanks for the
Happy
shout-out.
birthday.
I played all the Superman games in preparation for the new movie. I can't vote for Clark whatsoever. Plus, Void can manipulate Soup's good nature. Interesting. We'll see.
Dude, I'm so excited for that.
It's interesting. I
Superman
hadn't thought
movie.
about that. I'm very
like,
excited. If that's bad,
are-
I'm like gonna
God.
puke.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
vomit.
it all sort of is riding on it, right? Like
It's all
um,
riding on it.
I wasn't expecting to see it. This is kind of off topic. I wasn't expecting to see it. I was expecting to go see Sinners recently, but I ended up going to Thunderbolts with people, and it was actually pretty good. I think it's actually better than people are giving credit for. I don't know. I'm trepidatious about Fantastic Four, but Superman looks freaking awesome. Anyway, superhero movies
Watch
are back?
Sinners.
Who knows? But either way, let's talk Sentry. Are you ready, Liam?
He clearly wasn't.
Bob, aka Robert Reynolds. So the initial storyline that introduces him, which is in Sentry #1 in 2000, Marvel had this entire like really cool promotional campaign where they faked this like news story about a guy that found their old Sentry comics from the 60s, and they were like, oh my god, I didn't know my dad had these comics. This is a Marvel comic that's dated from before Fantastic Four #1. So this is actually the very first Marvel superhero, at least from the modern age. And it turned out to be a faked campaign because it was ginning up support for the Sentry. The idea behind the Sentry in his initial story is that he was Earth's mightiest hero. He was Marvel's Superman. He was so powerful that he could not exist. His powers are too dangerous, so they needed to warp reality to erase the memory of the Sentry from everyone's minds. And he gets his memories back and spends the entire comic run trying to convince superheroes that he existed. So like he would go to like Spider-Man and be like, Peter, look, you took a picture of me when I first showed up. You took this photograph of me, and he shows it to Peter, and Spider-Man goes, "This is a blank piece of paper. I don't know what you're talking about." Like he erased his memory from people's minds. And the reason that happened is because the Sentry is bonded to a being called the Void. And the Void is it's different than in the movie. And I thought it was the same as it was in the movie. It's not. But the Void is a cosmic being of darkness. He is actually strongly implied to be one of the curses that God sent against the Pharaoh and Egypt. Or I think he is just all of them.
What? He is?
Yeah. They like Moses is. They start off the comic with Moses doing his shit. Moses is like, everything's fucked, and God's gonna send a curse on you. And then it just shows the Void like coming over Egypt.
Okay.
I guess I never connected that. Yeah. That make sure. Okay.
No,
that's
I mean,
wild.
You have muted.
Yeah,
there's like 10 different explanations for what that is in Marvel Comics. I'm pretty sure there was a Ghost Rider comic that said that it was like the Spirits of Vengeance were that as well. Whatever. So the Sentry is, and people do remember him, and he does become a superhero. But the problem is that the Sentry is not quite the shining hero that everybody thought he was. He has severe mental health issues. He has severe agoraphobia, severe schizophrenia, and an overall lack of confidence in himself, because every time he uses his powers to do anything, to save anyone, the Void acts as a balance. So if he saves a train, like a crashing train full of people, the Void will go sink a ship. If he stops a meteor from blowing up the Earth, the Void will go up and destroy another planet full of people. Like that's why he's afraid to use his powers, because he struggles to control this separate personality. Yeah, so he's insanely powerful. The Sentry is. I guess I should just make my argument for why he beats Superman. He is simply stronger than Superman. He is sort of the idea behind him is that he is everything Superman is, but way, way, way more powerful at the expense of being a danger to all of creation. Like in the Dark Avengers storyline, which is the one where he joins the Avengers that's controlled by Norman Osborn, where all of the Avengers are actually like supervillains disguised as Avengers. Like it's Hawkeye disguised, or it's Bullseye disguised as Hawkeye.
Okay.
They say like after the Sentry like does this really impressive feat, they get one of the characters goes, "Remember that thing that Scarlet Witch just did a couple of years ago, which is House of M? If he ever loses control, it's going to be infinitely worse than that, because he is that absurdly powerful."
Liam, turn on your gain so that we can get rid of that hammer sound. A couple things from chat. First of all, Apom Mimikyu, the Void sounds like a prick. Yep, exactly. Yes. But then there's a couple people asking, like, okay, so if he's meant if the vent is made, if the Void is meant to sort of like balance what Sentry does, then what if Sentry does something evil? Does the Void do something good?
Oh no. The Void will then be like, "Yeah, Bob, you're getting the hang of it." Okay. No, the Void is just fucking evil. The Void loves to kill and destroy, and he loves fucking with Bob.
So it's not like a balance. It's just petty as hell, and it's like, you did good, I must do bad. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not the opposite of the Sentry. He's a big fucking cosmic asshole attached to Bob.
Okay.
Yeah. For the record, if you haven't seen the Thunderbolts movie and want to go see it, completely different thing in that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Very different. We won't be getting into that, so no worries about spoilers for Thunderbolts here. Okay, so you say he's stronger than Superman?
Yeah.
That one got me too.
How? Yeah.
Okay. We could go into it. I mean, it's going to kind of
because
involve me
like
going
my
into, like, the big
thinking here
stuff.
was,
Yeah.
there's no way he's going to be able to outpower Superman, who literally shattered, what was it, the seventh dimension, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So maybe there's going to be some like weird hacks thing that he has. Maybe there's some weird
That
power
too.
that Sentry has that Superman might not have a direct counter to, or some magic or whatever that could, bypass Superman's defenses. But you're just saying he's just straight up more powerful.
Yeah, the kind of whenever Sentry is introduced, he is introduced as the guy that nobody is as strong. When there is a part in the Avengers X-Men crossover where he fights Thor, and when Thor throws Mjolnir, the Sentry just stops it because the Sentry can control molecules. So he just stops Mjolnir mid-throw, and then carries Thor across the universe in like a bull rush, carries him to this other planet, and then just knocks him out in 2 hits. Thor is not like remotely capable of fighting him. When he fights the Hulk,
Yeah, but that's Thor.
it
I mean,
is
compared to
Thor, yeah.
Superman, right?
When he fights Ares, the god of war, he bum rushes Ares and does the classic Sentry move that everyone loves, which is where he grabs you and rips you in half. When he
Okay.
fights the Hulk, people like bring up like, well, the World War Hulk beat the Sentry. Actually, in that scene, they send the Sentry because he's the only one that is strong enough to fight the Hulk. And as they fight, the Sentry is actually losing control of himself in the fight.
Yeah.
So he asks Bruce, he goes, please beat the shit out of me so that I can depower, essentially. Because I know that you're the only one that can squeeze the juice out of me.
Squeeze the juice out of
interesting
me.
way.
That's one way to
The
say
only
it, I
times
guess.
that Sentry has ever lost are either the only times he's lost are when he has either lost is when he is chosen to lose, like he's asked to be killed because he's scared of the power that he has, or the times that he has been killed, the only reason he stayed dead is because he chose to stay dead. Because the Sentry is also more than just a big flying strong guy. He has insane molecular control ability. He is one of the most powerful
Molecular control ability. What do you mean?
He controls all molecules in reality. He
What?
controls
like,
all
does
of
he have to
reality.
touch him?
No.
Oh,
he
cool.
Is a reality working god.
Okay, wait.
That
What?
controls all of reality. Yeah.
So just like mentally, he can just change. Okay, sick, cool.
Yes.
That's totally sick. Yeah, all right.
He fights this character called Molecule Man, and Molecule Man is actually kind of similar to the Sentry, in that he is a supervillain where it's like, what if we took a really cheesy, lame Silver Age supervillain from the 60s or whatever, and made him God, and made him like the most powerful being ever. And Molecule Man can warp reality essentially without any limit, and I'll get into what that means a little bit later. But
Wait, was this the era where Molecule Man was of God powers, or was this prior to that?
No, this is in God powers.
Molecule Man was God powers.
He has an entourage in the comic where he fights Sentry. He has an entourage of Mephisto, Dormammu, the Beyonder, like sitting around him, going, "Yeah, Owen, kick his ass," because they're like intimidated by how strong he is.
Molecule Man's funny because he starts off as like he's powerful, but he's just
the Molecule Man,
run-of-the-mill villain.
Yeah.
And it's like, surprise, he has the ability, like many decades later, surprise, he has the ability to completely rewrite all of reality, and he's going to reboot the universe.
He's the battery that Doctor Doom uses when he's Emperor Doom. And in that battle, when the Dark Avengers are fighting Molecule Man shows up and kills the Sentry, blows him up. Dr. Manhattan. Like
Maybe
erases
Molecule
him
Man
from
will
reality.
show up in Doomsday. Who knows? We'll see. We got Secret War,
Maybe.
Special War, whatever the hell it's called after that. Anyway, Battle World.
Yeah, he blows him up and like does the Dr. Manhattan thing where he splits all of his atoms and deletes him from reality. And then like an issue later, the stuff comes back. He Sentry warps back into reality and is like, oh, that hurt. And then shows up, and Molecule Man is like, he does it to Sentry again, and then Sentry immediately reforms this time, and then goes, Owen, stop. And Molecule Man goes, ah! Like he's being like out Molecule Man by the Sentry. and that's the issue where it's revealed that like the core of the Sentry's abilities, like he or an aspect to him that he wasn't realizing. He's like, oh, I can control reality as well. I can control stuff just like that. Not
Okay.
as fine of a control as Molecule
Yeah.
Man, because like Molecule Man was
Okay.
fucking up the Earth, and he was like, put it back to how it was, but enough that he can like blow people up and
Yeah.
he's
This
more powerful than Molecule.
this is the thing that always gets me with like, especially when we talk about like stuff at like the level of atoms, because like how would Superman or any character for that matter have anything to say about like somebody cosmologically pulling them apart atom by atom? Like you can't just like flex your atoms together. Like that's like not a thing. But
Superman, like,
Superman certainly
Superman
could,
can.
but like it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Superman does have full control over his own molecular structure. That's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he can like rearrange his like body essentially. But okay, so what I'm kind of hearing here
Yeah.
is we have Superman, the being who is the most like stout and strong and all, you could think of him as like the sturdiest hero to ever exist in a lot of different ways, not just physical,
Yeah.
just in every way. Versus a guy who's almost like his alternate counterpart in every way.
Yes.
Has the powers to match him and the powers to sort of like a like try to unsturdy him. That's not quite right, but like try to tear him apart where he can keep himself together. So that's actually really interesting. I've also seen a few people mentioning that like um Sentry versus Superboy Prime might also make sense as an
Right.
alternate sort of take
Dark
of this matchup.
Superman.
Maybe, although Superboy Prime is just a fucking asshole. Like
It's a different. I was thinking about this. Like, it's what do you want from the matchup? Sentry versus Superman. The idea behind it is like, oh, could we find somebody that could actually kill? Like
Yeah.
that's the pitch.
Sure.
Sentry versus Superman Prime is more traditional. Like this is Dark Superman.
Yeah. It's like the ultimate power Dark Superman's like the highest
yeah.
level that you could get. If you consider Sentry a Dark Superman, I suppose. Okay, so but because at the end of the day, both like Sentry may have the void, you know, behind him and everything like that, but he still wants to be a hero, just like you can be with our sponsor, Hero Forge.
Oh my.
Gotcha. All right, let's talk about Hero Forge. No, Hero Forge is awesome, guys. It's an awesome online tool where you can build and customize tabletop miniatures. It's basically the ultimate character creator screen. Have you ever spent a whole hour customizing your character in an RPG? Well, have I got the website for you? I guarantee that you will absolutely love Hero Forge. Sam, can we bring up the picture of, yeah, here it is. If you just go to heroforge.com, this is the first thing you see. Not the
Wiz,
minifig that I made, but this character creator. And I put together a Wiz here, and you can, you know, get it printed out and sent to you. They even have like a way to get it like fully colored, or you can, you know, get it with like a different gray or sort of dark material that you want to paint yourself. And it's easy to use and lets you build your perfect miniature using dozens of fantasy species and thousands of unique parts. Hero Forge has been around for a while. I've used them before, like years ago. So they have been constantly building up their sort of catalog of parts and tools and things like that. So it's incredibly robust now. There's a lot you can do with it. Plus, you can color your mini right in your browser, just like I mentioned earlier, including advanced features like decals, makeup, war paint, and much more. Design your unique miniature and get it printed in full color, no painting needed. And again, like if you go to heroforge.com right now, I believe there's a link below if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just get started making a mini right away. You don't even need to set up your account. You can just go and like try out their character creator. It's awesome. And Hero Forge is always adding new content and updates. Most recently, they updated their face customizer for even more editable areas, as minute as the scalp, eyebrows, nose, and jawline. Yeah, that's how detailed it gets. It's crazy. It's not just picking out like from preset like faces and things like that. They have that, but if you want to get really granular with like a face design, you can absolutely do it. I swear, it's like the one of the, if not the best character like creation engine I've ever seen. It's fantastic. So visit heroforge.com to start designing your custom miniature today and check back often. New content is added every week. Thanks for the sponsorship, Hero Forge. Also, you're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to do more like D&D streams. We did a D&D stream back during the Kickstarter. And maybe we could get a bunch of Hero Forge minis in on that. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd be down. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on some super chats. Orange Blaster says, if you ever do this fight, you should flashback to Goku versus Superman and show that Sentry was always there. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
Just watching.
Just standing.
Yeah.
Background.
Zawarudo says, I feel like I remember Sentry getting ripped in half by Null. I don't.
Yeah. He also chose to stay dead there. There's actually a post comic where he's sitting, his spirit is just sitting there next on like a meteor, like next to his like dead body, and he's like, I kind of like this. This is like better than what I did before. Ripping him apart doesn't matter. He can just reform it.
Gotcha. Jeffrey Richard says Sentry has 0 feats to match World Forger feat. Barbados feat King of Hell Doomsday feat Molecular Man was massively weakened in the feat you are talking about. He cannot even stop normal rockets shot at him.
Guy likes feet.
Wrong.
Also, he couldn't even stop normal rockets,
Yeah.
Liam. Like, what's he supposed to do?
No version of Molecule Man this week is too weak
To stop
just 'cause you get hit
rockets?
by rockets. Huh?
No version is too weak. Is too weak to stop rockets. Sounds like he got hit by some rockets.
No powers. Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go.
Oh,
He's
this was
also-
great.
I'm gonna stick
Gonna
with
leave it
that.
that
Every
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
we bring up the
It's gonna stop
rocket,
rockets.
the Molecule Man feed, I'm gonna be like, yeah, but he got hit by rockets, Liam.
Halakozy says, okay, but can Superman or Sentry beat Eric from the 100 Humans versus 1 Gorilla Death Metal cast last week? No one can beat Eric. And then
fucking gorilla. Rip it in half.
No,
Except, yeah.
remember? Eric won. The people
No, Eric
won.
died.
Yeah. King of Video says Superman once did kill the actual. We're gonna skip that embodiment of his own deaths. It's possible, or this is superior to Sentry's molecular control. Okay.
What
I
did
don't-
you just read? What?
There's some extreme typos
There's a
in this,
comic-
Ben.
There's a comic where he fights the embodiment of his own death. Like he fights like an avatar of death and over. That comic is extremely like metaphorical. It's about like Superman as a character. It's not like the implication is not that if death was incapable of claiming. It was about Superman's ability to overcome impossible. The fact that he was able to fight it at all is, but he can't literally be stopped.
Your mic's doing the fun thing where it cuts off every one
Lovely.
of your last words.
Yeah.
No. Cool. Okay. We're having wonderful audio.
Yeah,
for
it's
this.
been
Yeah,
a-
we're really
Definitely.
on a roll today.
Cool. All right. And then Lee Mandragon, Sentry matching Hulk is extra impressive because the one above all said Hulk is his child and counterweight an immortal Hulk. I mean, yes, but also, like, we're talking about Superman here, who is the literal crux of the entire universe. Everything, the cosmology of the DC multiverse literally revolves around Superman. So much so that the new thing that they're doing, the oh my god, the absolute universe that they're doing right now, the whole concept of that is, what if there was a DC universe where Darkseid was the center of the universe? So it's literally flipping the whole idea of Superman being the center of the universe, which is really neat. But it also just continues to hammer home the idea that Superman is quite literally the like cornerstone of the DC multiverse and cannot be destroyed, cannot be removed, because it would literally destroy the very concept of DC.
And without him, there isn't a Big Bang to make everything happen, right? Like, kind of. So,
I mean, he did restart the universe.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, you know, Hulk being the desired avatar of the one below all, who is the Hulk of the one above all, is neat, but we're talking about Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
So
list off
and
a
then
couple of more Sentry strength feats. I have some more feats that I think are worth talking.
sure.
So you know the microverse from Ant-Man, from the Ant-Man episode, that like really like infinitely microscopic universe that's super fucking small. The Sentry and Genis
The
Vell,
Micro
who's
Machine
one of the
universe,
Captain
yeah.
Marvel. Yeah, he was fighting Genis Vell in the microverse, and their impacts were so powerful and so strong and so massive that they could be seen in the regular universe. They were like like stuff like this, like the size of your hand. And the microverse is like infinitesimal. So the explosions that he was creating with his hits were essentially like infinitely large. No one's reacting to that the way that I thought they would. That's very impressive.
But so
Um,
tiny.
Sorry.
That's so tiny.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, but they're
What?
very small, Liam.
How
Small.
big would they
Rocket.
be if he was regular sized, guys? He was shrunk. He was tiny in that feat. He was
Yeah.
in the microverse. So
Okay.
make him big. Okay.
Yeah, but they're
got
not
it,
big.
okay.
Christ
That's
almighty.
the thing. He's tiny. He's minuscule.
yeah,
And
if-
so explosions are minuscule, and therefore they can't
No,
be
I get
infinitely
it.
sized because they are
But he's
dinky.
not normally tiny.
Yeah,
He's not normally
right.
infinitely small.
I mean, you're
He's
talking
normally
if you just
person size.
if you just scaled on size, they'd be like a quadrillion times larger, right? Because he's in the
Yes,
microverse. Yeah,
yes,
like I get what
yeah,
you're saying.
yes.
It would be
Okay.
universe-wide
Yes.
explosions by punching people.
He has fought Galactic. In fact, to support that idea, in the Null fight, right before he goes and gets killed by Null, he is summoned to help. And his way of approaching the fight is not to just show up, because Sentry always needs to kill somebody when he shows up. Is that he flies right through the head of a Celestial that is symbiote possessed at the time. Celestials are the creators of the Marvel creation. They are from like several multiversal cycles behind us. They are unbelievably infinitely powerful beings. They're like Galactuses. And he flew through its head. Not like he didn't. This wasn't a great effort. This was him sort of like going. He just sort of punches through its head. And the reason it's also relevant is because when Thor tried to hurt a Celestial, his hammer blows were not even able to dent its armor. He had to use a full-on God Blast in order to punch a hole through a Celestial.
Okay.
And God Blasts are so powerful that Galactus literally went, "Fuck no, I don't want any part of that." When Thor tried to use one on him. So
Sentry's more powerful than
casual
Thor.
travel.
Cool.
Sentry's casual travel strength, just him flying, like just him Superman flying, is greater than or equal to a god. Just for comparison.
Okay. But
Okay.
like, Superman broke the World Forger's multiverse. So
Yes.
why are we comparing him to Thor?
Because the Sentry fought Molecule Man, who, while he struggled with those rockets, his one weakness is his kryptonite is rockets. Is somebody that can match the Beyonder. And the Beyonder is one of the most powerful beings in all of creation. He is stronger than Galactus. He is stronger than the Living Tribunal referred to Molecule Man and the Beyonder both as nigh omnipotent. They are essentially the only beings weaker than the one above all in terms of power. The Beyonder and thus Molecule Man, because they're essentially like two halves of the same coin, are stated to be infinitely dimensional. You wanted to get into that kind of stuff.
Of
And
course.
can destroy and control all of Marvel's creation. So greater than just the World Forger. And the Sentry is able to very effortless batter. Because the Sentry, the whole point of him is that nobody is like allowed to be as strong as him. If he's relevant in a story, he's always going to be. It's kind of like what they do with Superman.
Right.
Just he is better. He has happens.
So can you kind of run through, because I feel like we've sort of been jumping around to the direct comparison, and we may have skipped sort of like how Sentry is actually going to approach this fight, and specifically like what his power set is, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like Superman, but he's got a lot more going on, right? Just in terms of powers.
He does. So he, very much like Superman, can absorb energy. He can absorb solar energy to make himself stronger. However, he takes it a step beyond. He does not just need solar energy. He can absorb energy from anywhere and everywhere. He can absorb it from places like the microverse or the negative zone or our universe. He just absorbs the ambient energy of the universe into himself. Um, most often does this through sunlight, but he can do it from anything. He can absorb the sunlight from every sun in the universe just from Earth itself. So instead of Superman needing to do the I fly through a bunch of suns to sun dip, he can just stand there and absorb it. He can absorb energy from other people. Like when he fought the Human Torch, he just like sucked up the flames from the Human Torch into himself. I think this is relevant because if we remember Flash versus Sonic,
Okay.
the Sonic can generate essentially an infinite amount of chaos energy to make himself fast, and the Flash was able to like just use him as a battery because he can absorb kinetic energy. This is what it would be like with Sentry and Superman, because Superman is powered by yellow sunlight. The Sentry could just absorb it from him. Either every time he punches him, he's absorbing a little bit from him, or just passively, he just stands there and sucks Superman's yellow sunlight in. Superman goes to get more sunlight. Sentry just keeps on absorbing more from him. Treats him like a battery, essentially. And while Superman, yes, could potentially resist being Dr. Manhattan, even though the Beyonder is, I would say, significantly more powerful than like the World Forger or other beings Superman can fight. He's more like a Superman thought robot like kind of level opponent. But regardless of that, like even if he could survive being molecularly obliterated, he is still ultimately could be killed by being beaten to death. Like that is a consistent thing. He is still a physical being. And the Sentry can just continue to absorb him from like a energy from him to make himself stronger and makes
Is there an example
has,
of Sentry doing that to somebody? Like,
Because why wouldn't
yes,
he just
the Human
defeat
Torch.
everyone with that?
He
Well,
does. I mean, he like
say the same thing about
Sentry
Superman
does
a lot.
not- Yeah, Sentry. The thing with Sentry is that his mental health issues were so pronounced and so extreme that he just was not sent out for fights because of the danger of the Void showing up and killing
Right.
everybody. When he does show up, he either kills the opponent or the opponent is so strong they kill him, and then he comes back. And
I'm just thinking about the World War Hulk fight and how he's not absorbing Planet Hulk like Green Scar's
no, because he doesn't
gamma.
want to be. He's too strong in that fight. He's essentially saying like, beat me senseless until I am depowered. And he's
Kind of.
letting Hulk get hits on.
And they beat each other senseless essentially.
Yes,
because
but
Bruce
again,
comes
like
out of that.
in the same thing with like the event in Siege, where he asks Thor, "Kill me," and Thor does like a big god blast and like kills him. He's asking to die. He can always just reform.
So basically, what you're saying is, the way Sentry is written in stories is not how we're going to approach him in a death battle. Because in a death battle, that sort of like the issue, the real issue with Sentry and his powers isn't really a factor because we're going at this with like a sort of they're coming at each other to kill each other. There's nothing holding Sentry back.
Not only that, because you could still exploit, like, he does have mental health issues like agoraphobia and schizophrenia that Superman could potentially exploit.
Superman puts him back in his house.
Yeah, puts him back in his house. Sentry has since merged with the Void. They like their consciousness is merged into one. And it's kind of like, I accept you as part of myself, sort of thing. And he no longer has any mental issues. He is fully in charge of his power. He is more powerful than he has ever been before, even when he had a death seed in him. He is he doesn't really have those weaknesses. And I think that kind of defeats the purpose of his character, which is why he was killed off. After.
Oh. Okay.
The Null thing happened a couple years ago, and he was like, I'm happier now that I'm.
Yeah, he chooses to stay dead when Null kills him.
He chooses to stay dead, yeah.
But why does Null kill him? Does he let Null, or is he just, because we just saw that there's a super chat about why did Null expose him?
Sentry goes to like do the Carnage rip because Sentry famously like rips Carnage in half in space. Sentry does the Carnage rip on Null, and then Null like does a wrestling move and like it and then rips.
Yeah,
and then absorbs the Void, which is sort of like, it's like, oh, he could do that. Okay. So he does
Weird.
absorb the void. Yeah.
Gilda
Because
says
it's
the writer of that
theorized-
story said they didn't know who Sentry was.
Yeah, he didn't know that Bob and the Void were merged, which is sort of makes that whole moment like people don't like that moment because it's like
Yeah,
that we
well.
can kill Sentry, and the fact that it wasn't clear, like it misunderstood like his powers.
So they kind of had
whatever.
to retcon, like, oh, he accepted his death. He wants to stay dead now.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
That's so
Him
funny.
merging with the void seems like it. That's a whole other argument. Like it kind of
Yeah.
does a lot of his character. But either way, okay. So I know I'm not really talking too much about Superman. I am coming at this, expecting a lot of people watching this to have seen Goku versus
Know about
Superman.
it, yeah.
Because that basically kind of covers most of the things I would talk about here. Superman restarting the universe, Superman defeating the World Forger. One of the things I don't think we really talked about in that episode was there is a feat in Final Crisis where Superman has to stop reality blitzing missiles, is what they're called. They're supposed to essentially wipe out the like base of the universe.
Sure.
And he's able to like outspeed them, which is just like unfathomably fast. So Superman consistently, and again, this is not necessarily like I'm gonna charge up with like a super sun and then I'm gonna go, stop these reality blitzing missiles. He just does it. This is during the whole like Mandrak story where reality is being like eaten away and things like that. By story vampires or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was a
yeah.
wild time.
Yeah.
Wild time.
So Superman inherently breaks reality, inherently is meant to be someone who can just punch something and solve the problem that way. Typically speaking, when Superman is being defeated, there's something else going on, or it is a character who is also of that similar power level. And I mean, so when it comes to Sentry and his level of power, I just don't buy him meeting something as similar to destroying a whole multiverse on the sixth dimension. Like this seems like we're just talking about something that's a step below. But we'll get into that in just a bit. I think we do need to cover our second sponsor of today, which is HelloFresh. And also, by the way, that's not HelloFresh.
That's not
No.
HelloFresh. Try again.
HelloFresh,
There we go.
where you can make your own custom minis.
Mini
No.
meals, Ben.
Yes, mini meals.
Well, they're pretty full-size meals. And also,
true.
if you don't like cooking, stick around because this is weirdly perfect for you, and I'll explain why in just a moment. First off, you've probably heard of HelloFresh, but what actually is it? With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. HelloFresh makes it easier to fit quick, home-cooked meals into your schedule every week by curating delicious recipes like chicken Dijon and pecan-crusted trout, as well as over 100 seasonal snacks, sides, and treats. And this year, they're evolving to fit every lifestyle by bringing customers even more convenience without compromising on taste, health, or homemade quality. But remember how I said that this is perfect if you don't like to cook? Well, I know that doesn't make sense based on what I just said, but if because you're still cooking the ingredients that they send you, right? Unless you want to go for their new ready-made meals. These are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes that are ready to go in just 3 minutes. That's like nothing, right? Takes no time at all. Gives you plenty of time to get back to what you actually want to do. Like, I don't know, argue with people over the internet. Sounds like a reasonable trade-off to me. So feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make the season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/cast10fm now to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on the first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. And that is cast10fm, CAST10FM. Check it out. It's a great deal. Appreciate it,
Long-time
HelloFresh.
sponsor. Thank you.
Yeah,
HelloFresh.
long-time sponsor. We love HelloFresh. They're great.
Yeah.
All right. So
I definitely have some super chats to catch up
Yeah,
on.
I was
all right.
gonna ask you
Mhm.
and you, Chad and Sam, like, what about this matchup you guys are curious about? So let's go through the super chats, see what Chad is talking about, and then we'll get to you guys.
Yeah, Gilded, I don't know if anyone's pointed this out, but this is the light of the sun versus the darkness of the void. That'd be a great line for the script if we do this one.
Yep.
Thorgy has a
Music
question.
title, right? Light versus the void, or something like that.
Yeah, can't Superman just produce the opposite frequency that Sentry's quantum strings vibrate on to completely erase him from existence, like he did True Form Darkseid and Final
That
Crisis?
was, to be fair, that was a bit of a very unique situation.
Yeah.
He had learned that
He
separately.
learned
So
that Darkseid was weakened. You guys can't come at me with the why doesn't Sentry do this all the time? And then
No.
the thing that
Liam.
why doesn't Superman just do that all the time?
Okay, no. I'm taking
Yeah.
back what I just said. Liam, Superman's just gonna sing him to death. He's gonna say one word, and it's going to erase Sentry's reality.
Mordecai says Sentry has beaten Thor more times than Thor has beaten Sentry, especially as Merged Sentry and Horseman of Death Sentry. Oh, cool, he was a horseman.
Oh, yeah, okay. So maybe his victories against Thor aren't quite as impressive as somebody here is trying to make them out to be.
No, because when he merged, he was explicitly stronger than he'd ever. I know. I checked that just to be sure. He is stronger than.
Okay, and then
Okay.
King of Funia says, sorry for the typos before. In there was that thing Superman fought was supposed to be a stronger, darker Superman in a conceptual way similar to Sentry. I think that was the thing that you then talked about,
Yeah.
right, Liam? Cool. So we got that done.
Chad, are you incapable of reading what's going on here?
I am. Ben, I'm reading it word for word. I have a feeling there's some translation things going on. Okay.
You know what? I think that's Chad's fault. Don't worry.
I'm really
Explain, Chad.
trying.
I do like that strategy.
Montana McCarthy says Molecule Man scales anywhere from above the living tribunal to half a cosmic cube. Comparing to him is inconsistent. Okay.
I mean, comparing to
I
any
feel confident.
like character of this age in comic books is inconsistent.
I feel confident comparing him to the Beyonder because the Beyonder is present in that comic and significantly weaker than Molecule Man. He's like part of his entourage. I understand that he has shifted in power, but it isn't like Molecule Man like struggled against Sentry. It is that he was completely and totally dominated and over.
All right, cool. Little Zbot says, in Attack Goku versus Superman, you said Superman could create the miracle machine in the fight if need be. Would that affect this fight?
I mean, Sentry could just destroy it with molecular manipulation.
He just be gone.
Yeah. That makes more sense in a fight with somebody like Goku, where you could theoretically like leave the fight for a bit.
While Goku's doing the spirit bomb, he's
charging up the spirit bomb. Superman's building the miracle machine, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And by leave the fight for a bit, I mean like it would take them just a couple seconds or whatever. But I don't know if what am I doing arguing for you? Yeah, he could totally just build the miracle machine and it would just wipe out Sentry.
Of course.
Easy.
Yeah.
No problem.
And then one last one. King of Funia says Superman has 3 accounts of damaging the Source Wall, which could be equal to or above Sentry's best, and has pre-crisis feats against Source infused CH
Characters.
characters. Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Source infused characters. Every DC character is Source. The Source is like the source of all creation. Damaging the Source Wall. If he means like pulling people out of it, like that's not the same thing as like destroying. I don't remember these destroying Source Wall personally.
I thought it was like when he breaks the comic panel for the story vampires, that kind of bullshit.
That's as a thought robot. Are we giving him? Because if he's like cosmic armor Superman, that is at the level of the Beyonder and stuff. But he's not. Like he's very explicitly not. Cosmic armor Superman is like the full embodiment of what Ben was talking about, which is that he is like a linchpin of reality. He is like story, like
that's
meta
multiple
character.
Supermen.
That's not the same thing as regular.
Or that's taking advantage of. Oh my God, why am I blanking on who actually like forms
Ultraman?
Yeah, well, he's with Ultraman, but there's somebody else who's forming it, and I can't helping him form it. I can't remember who it is.
Captain Atom. Or
It might have been. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into that moment specifically, and also the robot was built by another species of people. Like it didn't.
the monitor.
Yeah. The monitors. So it's not like he can just become the thought robot. They kind of a lot of people were involved in getting that thing to happen.
For a very specific
Unfortunately, but also, like technically speaking, if we wanted to make this fight really thematic, I mean, if Sentry is bonded with the Void, his like dark half, Superman bonding with Ultraman to create like the most powerful thing in existence kind of fits. So you know what? Fuck it. Thought Robot is included. Let's go. And he can rewrite reality and change, time and space and break the source wall. So yeah, I'm down for that. I didn't think about that before. I wasn't planning to argue for Thought Robot Superman, but yeah, Cosmic Armor Superman. Let's go.
Gilded, I didn't read that one. Way to double down on it. Anyway.
You didn't read Gilded Data's. Okay, this one that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, Sentry will
Well,
suck
why didn't you read
Superman
this one? This
dry.
one's great.
The
Chad.
other one
Let me-
was. Go ahead.
Let me read it. Maybe this isn't the second one. I don't know which one this is of these numbers, but like, oh, I see it now. Okay. So I will read both of your messages, Gilded Data, because clearly this is very important to
Great.
the argument here. And also, if this argument, for everybody watching and listening, if this argument is something that you really want to experience, then vote for Sentry. But if it kind of throws you off, please vote for me. According to Gilded Data, so what you're saying is that Sentry is gonna suck Superman dry of his solar energy.
Yeah.
Again,
It's
Sentry will suck Superman dry of his solar energy.
Congratulations, Gilded.
Oh, like his dick.
Hope you enjoy.
Oh, is that what you mean? Oh, is that what
Wow,
you mean?
Liam, wow.
Oh, I did.
Um,
Oh,
Wow, what
I
a
think
great,
he's gonna absorb
what a
it.
great topic before I have to talk about our next sponsor. Luckily, they are cool
Luckily,
as hell
they
with
love
us.
hearing
Yeah,
about
like-
Sentry's.
Yeah, Russell, if your team are watching, I didn't tee that one up. I in fact tried to not. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Comic Palooza, because we're gonna be there. Hopefully, still after this ad read. Comic Palooza is the largest pop culture festival in Texas. It's gonna be in Houston this June 20th through 22nd at the George R. Brown Convention Center. There will be hundreds of panels covering everything from anime to comics to podcasts to literature to gaming to us. We've got 3 panels. We've got one every day, I believe, and as well as meet and greets every day. So we would love to see you guys out there. We'd love to hang out. And we're joining a bunch of other special guests, including Adam Savage, Patton Oswalt, Hayden Christensen. Yep, that Hayden Christensen, Tori Wilson, Alan Tudyk, which I'm stoked about. Oh, God, if I get to shake Alan Tudyk's hand, I'll be so excited. That man is such a terrific actor. And the voice of Goku himself, Sean Schemmel. There'll be a huge exhibit hall with merchants from all over the nation, tons of awesome attractions, and even events like a rave, a Japanese arcade, a cosplay contest, magic shows, a haunted house, and Full Steel Combat. They also have a car show. Like this, I'm so excited. And if you're wondering what Full Steel Combat is, well, if you ever wanted to see a pair of knights in full plate armor going at each other with actual medieval weapons, yep, it's that. So we'll be there all weekend from Friday through Sunday. Like I said, we got a few panels, we got some meet and greets, and also we'll be preparing a very special episode for the first time. So we can't reveal what it is just yet, but let's just say it's one you've been wanting to see. So let's click the link below to check out Comic Palooza. Pick up your passes now and come hang out with us June 20th through 22nd. We hope to see you at Comic Palooza. Like I said, we're very excited and they've been amazing to work with. And we're coming out there because of like all you guys were doing awesome stuff on the Kickstarter. And then they saw it and they were like, hey, would you guys like to come to this convention? We're like, hell yeah. So another company supporting us. Thanks to you guys supporting us.
I see people freaking out about your agent Screw Attack shirt, even though I'm wearing an SGC shirt, like same era, but I still got merch in the bag over there. You looking for that secondary market? Hit me up.
from the SGC era. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Maybe we'll bring some of that to Comic Palooza and hand it out.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I have seen King of Funia mentions Superman has 3 accounts of damaging the source wall, which could be equal to or above Sentry's best, and has precursive feats against source infused characters. I believe I know some of what you're talking about. I know that there is an example of him breaking through the source wall to like get to Darkseid before Darkseid kills Batman. I don't remember the specific like context of it. He has definitely survived source wall like infused beings before. I know that for a fact. So yeah, like Superman, it doesn't require the thought robot for Superman to break through the source wall. He's definitely done it before. It's just kind of a rarity amongst what he does, and it's usually some like kind of existential story where there's other things going on. It's usually a Darkseid type story, right? So I'm kind of like looking through some notes here. I believe, yeah. So yeah, he has busted through the source wall before, and used its power. But I mean, again, because it's Superman, he's capable of essentially breaking through reality. That's the whole point of him. So I just don't see how Sentry is going to be able to compete with that. But
Well,
I am.
KJX. Go ahead, sir. KJX says Superman's an alien that's powered by the sun versus Sentry, a superhero powered by 1 million explosion suns that was made by a human.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Did you know that, by the way?
Would Superman
was
be powered by Sentry's power? Sentry's absorbing Superman's power, and then Superman just absorbs sunlight from Superman?
If Sentry like shot out a beam of solar energy, then that could potentially heal him. But then he just wouldn't. He would just be.
Well, Superman sucked the sunlight out of plants before.
Yeah, in the.
Oh, he just grabs Sentry and
just
he sucks him dry.
I knew you were gonna say it.
That's in an alternate. He doesn't have.
Yeah. This is
He can get it.
This
from
fight could go a very unexpected route.
This is the one. Y'all have suggested it almost every time we have a male and a female combatant, but this is the one. We just end it with.
End it with what, Chad?
Sucking dry, dude. That's what it is.
All right. What's
Dude Blade has an actual question. Is there any
yeah.
limit on how much energy Sentry can absorb? Because then it comes down to if Sentry can figure out his power source or not. That's interesting. Has Sentry ever been like, I've absorbed too much?
A moment where it's
no.
too much, and then he explodes.
He's gonna bust. Yeah, that would be rough.
Absorbing Man absorbed Sentry's power, and it was too much for him. I mean, Absorbing Man can absorb power from like Odin.
Yeah.
And like Mjolnir and whatever. No, Sentry can absorb as much energy as he wants. Remember, like the concept of Sentry going insane and warping reality and destroying it was considered significantly worse than when Scarlet Witch did it in House of M. Like that's the scale we're talking. Is significantly more dangerous.
Okay. Platinum Warrior in chat. I got here at a weird time.
I just saw that.
You did. Yeah, you did. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I blame Gilded.
Okay, let's. There's clearly a lot we could talk about in this episode, and obviously there's more to talk about with Superman. But again, I'm kind of expecting people to have seen Goku vs Superman, and already have a general understanding of the character for this. But I am curious, Chad and Sam, where your guys' heads are at as we're about to get to the poll.
I mean, I feel like Superman is like always written as the thing that wins, like no matter what, and he kind of has this crux to him. So I would really like to see him lose, but I don't necessarily think he would.
I've learned a lot about Sentry that I didn't know, and the scale that I always thought like he's Marvel's Superman, but like probably not as powerful as Superman. But Liam brought us some really interesting stuff, so I don't know. This isn't like the power, the suck argument is fairly strong. So I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure. Give it a couple years. Whenever Sentry has to fight the one above all, and like it'll be maybe we'll be talking then, but. Yeah, I
feel
know.
like I could have brought up a feat of him fighting the one above all, and people would still say Super.
That's kind of the problem.
As high as he wants.
That's kind of the problem with Superman as a character, right? Like
He
is
has
that.
been. He is not invulnerable. He has been
I know.
beaten. Like he has a fight with Doomsday where he is beaten into an unconscious state where he needs to recharge. He can physically be like. That's the difference between them. You can beat Superman to death. It takes a lot, but you can beat him to death. Cannot beat Sentry at all. His body can just reform.
And yet Noel ripped him in half and he was beaten. Oh,
Yeah, it seems
and then
like-
absorbed the void. I don't care if the writer didn't know what he was doing. It still happened.
He wasn't dead. I mean, in the
Well,
sense that he is killed
he wanted to
anytime
be.
that his body is obliterated.
Yeah.
He chose not to reform his body. His dead body was floating right next to him in space, and he was like, "I'm cool with this."
Yeah, there's
good.
definitely a difference between like physical death and like I don't know, spiritual death for lack of a better term.
He
and
ascended to
that-
heaven at the
yeah.
end of that storyline, so that was his actual death. Is when he just chose to ascend.
Multiverse.
And furthermore,
media.
like again, he's always going to be able to absorb the sunlight from Superman's body. He is like he's like a Superman kryptonite. Let alone like use his like supervision, and see that Superman is like weak to red sunlight. Just shoot red sunlight.
Hmm.
I think
And
the absorbing is just an easy.
Vince says if Sentry puts Superman in the void, there's no sun in there, right? In the
Yeah, we
void.
didn't talk too much about the void. Yeah, he does have like an inner universe inside of his mind where he goes to like let off steam.
See, that kind
maybe
of
we
changes
could take a
things
look at
because Superman does kind of like he needs a sun to power him, whereas it sounds like Sentry doesn't need anything to power him, right? Well, the void, but the
Everything-
void is
everything
like
powers
always
him.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got a notification from my computer that for some reason my PC will automatically restart in 1 minute.
Lit. It's
Oh,
great
no.
timing.
What
It's
the hell's
great
going on with that?
timing.
But
right.
I'm gonna put the poll up, and I might just
Hurry.
randomly disappear.
Hurry.
Everybody. I have
Are
no
we gonna vote
idea
for
why
somebody that
that
isn't
popped
even
up.
fucking here? That doesn't even want to be a part of this? Are you gonna vote for? You're gonna vote for the guy whose fucking computer doesn't even want him to win? Jesus.
Why would it do that?
Alright, do whatever
Okay.
you want.
I mean, I would love to see Superman lose. It would be great, See him
Yeah.
get ripped in half. That's sick. But
What?
well,
Okay,
because
all right, the
Superman is a
poll
bad
up.
person.
Let us
Hear me
know
out.
Who
No,
you think will
God.
win?
Superman is powerful enough to make sure everyone on Earth never gets hurt, and he doesn't. Bad person.
Okay.
It's the
Raven
same.
gifted out
It's the
20
same reason.
memberships. Thank you.
Storm, bad person. Iceman,
I
bad
mean,
person.
I feel like there's a bit more of a justification for Superman where he doesn't want the world to be completely reliant on him, and also he has other shit to do. So, like, the whole point of Superman's story is that he.
Oh, wait.
Don't
Okay.
feed that- bring it back. Bring it
I
back.
didn't do that. That's what it automatically
That was
does.
so good. Oh, the timer. Oh my god.
Well, I guess we should probably just end the poll.
Uh,
Look at that.
oh my god.
I don't have it out for. Okay, I
Sentry
don't.
drained his PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman wins with 53% of the vote, and I want to say I do not have it out for Storm. I'm just saying Storm could stop a lot of strife in the world and chooses not to, which seems
Sentry
very
the Void
rude.
Beat Ben. I'll take that as a win.
Yeah.
He's in the void. Look at him. Yeah.
That's what happens when you vote for Superman. That's
Yeah.
what happens to you.
All right. What do we get? I didn't see. What were the poll
It's
results?
53% Superman. Ben doesn't even need to be here to win. As Raven says,
Thank you, Raven.
perfection.
Perfection.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, that's that,
I
right?
think- I mean, we've got to do this, right? It'll be nice
I
to
very
not...
clearly made the objectively superior argument in this episode. Like, my God.
I don't
Christ.
disagree. I think the problem is you have to run through almost a century of this weird American Superman superiority complex that everyone seems to, it's like
That's
his
true.
that we've
logo.
helped create. Let's be real here.
But like, I
That
mean,
we've
it's
helped
like
create.
if
Yeah.
you think of like worldwide recognizable logos, it's like
Yeah.
Coca-Cola and Superman. Like,
47,
It's
47
crazy.
against Superman is like a 98% in like a regular.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Yes, and I do want
Alright.
Iceman to fix the polar caps because you want oil companies to keep drilling. No, I just think that if we have a global warming issue, Iceman can just
What?
kind of
What's
go
that?
shh, and we'll be good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like we have a guy that can make everything colder, and you're worried about it being too hot. Oh, Ben's back.
Nope.
And that's all the time we have
Yeah,
here.
that's what we
Appreciate
got.
y'all so
Anyways,
much. And
Sentry won. So glad, Ben. I don't know, you weren't here to see this, but Sentry won. It was
Hang
40,
on,
it was
hang
98% to 2%.
Hang on, I got the
And
chat
we
back
are-
open.
Close it, Sam.
Ah,
Close
I
it.
see.
Turn it off.
I
Turn it up,
see,
Sam.
I see. With 53% of the vote, good
Dun,
old Superman takes the victory. Wow. Also, what the hell, Windows? Why
Hey.
did you just?
oh, it cut you out at the perfect time. We were dying. It was really good.
You'd think Windows they could just like we don't need another tangent right now, but you think they could just say, "Hey, look, we know what time zone your PC is in. We're just gonna say anytime it needs to do this, 5 a.m. No one needs their PC at 5 a.m. But no, they're like 1 p.m. on the dot, right when people are almost certainly working across the entire Americas. Let's fucking shut that shit down for a little bit. Like it's crazy.
I've never seen this window pop up where it's just like your PC will automatically restart in 1 minute. Okay, no
Yeah.
control over that. So if anybody in chat knows what the hell just happened to my computer, let me know. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Probably a forced security update, just
Yeah,
because
you probably
if you haven't
haven't updated
updated in
in a
so
while.
long.
I definitely updated recently. Like I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I'll have
Well,
to look into it.
anyways,
All right.
I'm gonna hit the close show button.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh,
We'll
are we
see you next
done?
episode.
Wait. There's an outro I'm supposed to do.
Oh shit, I forgot to
Fuck.
remind you.
What was the outro?
Be kind to others, be
oh,
kind
no.
to yourself.
Hey, be kind to others, be kind to yourself,
Oh,
be
that
awesome.
was something important.
That's what it was.
And we'll see you next week. We got a really special episode next week. We got a fun
Oh,
one coming
God, I
up.
just
and
remembered,
There's,
yeah.
there's gonna be a fun announcement probably in
I
it.
forgot we agreed.
Also,
We
if you
argued
haven't
about it.
seen, also if you haven't seen the Simone the Digger preview, check that out. Simone versus Kyle's coming up. We're very excited about it. It's gonna be cool. So check out that preview.
Oh,
It's gonna be a
Let us
hype
know what you
one.
think about it.
And the boomstick plushes have wrapped. Y'all did amazing. U2's was super happy. We're very happy. And so those should be shipping out in September, I believe. So
Yeah,
thanks to
they're
everybody
getting
who,
manufactured now. Thank you.
picked one up.
Yeah.
Now I'm hoping we'll be able to maybe do some more with them in the near
Yeah.
future. We'll see.
Yeah, so the release window will be around September. I think you should have an email about it when you ordered it. So yeah, thank you everybody for checking that out and for ordering those. That's huge. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's a really good plush. I think
really
you guys
is.
are gonna like what you see. All right. I realized I did my outro and then
Do it
we
again.
didn't actually end the
You gotta
show.
make
Cut 'em
up
off.
for ones you've lost.
Shit. Okay.
My hand's been on this
Hey,
done
everybody.
button.
Be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome, and we'll see you next week.
Perfect.
Take care.